Let's get right into it. Number 9. Cortisol isn't your enemy, it's your chaos gremlin. Picture this. You're mid-deadline, your boss just added 3 more meetings to your Tuesday, and your body decides now's the time to activate what I like to call your internal chaos gremlin. That's cortisol, your stress hormone. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Cortisol doesn't actually want to stress you out. It's trying to save your life. When you're stressed, cortisol floods your system to help you handle danger. It sharpens your focus, quickens your reflexes, basically turns you into a tiny, vigilant squirrel. But, and this is where it gets weird and wasty, your body can't distinguish between running from a tiger and running late to work. So cortisol just keeps cranking. Now, cortisol has a weird relationship with testosterone. They're like feuding roommates. When cortisol's high, testosterone typically dips. Your body's basically like, hey buddy, we're in crisis mode, no time for fun stuff. Except here's the plot twist. Some dudes' brains interpret that hormone imbalance as a call to action. Their body's saying, we need a dopamine hit, now! And suddenly, sex becomes less about desire and more about self-medication. It's your brain trying to hit the reset button with the hammer of poor decision-making. Basically, your body just wants to feel normal again. It's just really, really bad at asking nicely. Number 8, the dopamine addiction loop, your brain's slot machine. Imagine your brain is a casino, and dopamine is the currency. Stress is the bouncer that just threw your whole vibe out the door. Now your brains lighten up like a pinball machine because it remembers one specific thing that makes dopamine go brrrr. Here's the science. Dopamine isn't actually the pleasure chemical. It's the motivation chemical. It's what makes you want things, desire, cravings, that gnawing feeling that you need something. When you're stressed, your dopamine levels tank because your brain's too busy pumping out cortisol to bother with the good stuff. So what's your brain do? It starts hunting. It starts remembering things that used to feel good. Sex is at the top of that list because, evolutionarily speaking, it's one of the most dopamine-intensive experiences your body can have. But here's where it gets dark and twisty. This isn't really about wanting sex. It's about not feeling stressed. Your brain's essentially asking, what quick thing can we do to flood my system with dopamine? And then pointing directly at sex like it's the solution to everything. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's just a temporary band-aid on a stress fracture. The irony? After the dopamine spike crashes, the cortisol comes back worse. You're caught in a loop where you're chasing the high, but never actually fixing the problem. It's like treating a broken leg with ice cream. Sure, ice cream's great, but it's not a tibia. Number 7, the sympathetic nervous system's weird arousal trick. Ever notice how sometimes fear feels a lot like excitement? Like you're anxious, your heart's pounding, your palms are sweating, and then someone attractive walks in and suddenly that nervous energy feels like attraction? That's not a coincidence. That's your sympathetic nervous system being a troll. When you're stressed, your sympathetic nervous system, the fight-or-flight guy, is activated. This system gets your blood flowing, your heart racing, everything on high alert. Now here's the plot twist. Physical arousal and stress arousal use similar pathways. Increased heart rate, blood pressure spike, muscle tension, these are the same physiological responses whether you're about to fight someone or about to have sex with someone. Your brain's so scrambled from stress that it sometimes misinterprets the signal. It's like your nervous system got the wires crossed and decided that racing heart is the same as attraction. So while you're sitting in traffic, stressed about bills, your body's like, I'm already warmed up, let's go. It's not logical. It's not even fair. But it's happening. Some research even suggests that a surge of adrenaline can actually enhance sexual response in men. So your body's basically using the stress switch as a shortcut to sexual engagement. It's efficient in the worst way possible. Your body's basically a confused teenager at a school dance. It doesn't know what emotion it's having, it just knows something's activated. Number 6. Oxytocin's sneaky stress relief hustle. Let's talk about oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, the bonding hormone, the hormone that makes you feel like everything's okay when everything is not okay. Oxytocin is released during sex, and it genuinely does help reduce stress. It lowers cortisol, promotes relaxation, makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. It's basically your brain's chill-out button. Here's the catch. Your stressed brain knows this. On some level, maybe not consciously, but your brain remembers that sex used to make the bad feelings go away. It's not being pervy, it's being pragmatic in the worst way possible. Your brain's like, I need oxytocin, I need stress relief, I need to not feel like I'm dying inside. Sex has oxytocin, let's go. It's literally your body using sex as self-prescribed medication, which sounds weird because it is weird, but it's also surprisingly common. When you're in a state of high stress, your body's looking for quick wins on the neurochemistry scoreboard, and sex is like the premium membership. The problem is that while oxytocin's dropping your cortisol for like 20 minutes, your actual problems are still sitting in your inbox judging you. It's self-medicating, but instead of grabbing a beer, you're grabbing a person. At least one of those options doesn't require consent. All right, number 5. The weird psychology of distraction. Your brain needs an escape hatch. Stress is like an alarm that won't stop screaming. Your brain hates it. Your brain hates the feeling of being trapped and overwhelmed and powerless. So what does your brain do? It looks for a complete and total escape hatch, something consuming enough to take your mind completely off the problem. Sex is basically the nuclear option of distraction. It requires your full attention. Your body, your senses, everything is there in the moment. It's impossible to be thinking about work deadlines when you're actively engaged in that particular activity. That's not an accident. That's your brain going into witness protection from your own stress. This is different from just wanting sex. This is needing the dissociation. This is hunting for a break from your own consciousness. And when you're stressed, that urge gets really loud, really fast. Some psychologists call this behavioral escape. Your brain doesn't want to solve the stress problem, it just wants to not think about it for a while. It's like slamming your head repeatedly, but consensually and with another person involved. Your brain's basically saying, I can't fix this situation, so I'm going to make you forget it exists for the next 15 minutes, and that counts as a win in my book. Number 4, testosterone's confusing relationship with pressure. Here's where it gets really weird. A little stress can actually increase testosterone in men. Not a lot of stress, a little, just enough to pump up. Like you're at the gym, you're lifting heavy things, you feel strong and capable. Your testosterone spikes, you're ready to conquer. But the weird part is that sometimes stress mimics that same ready-for-action feeling, and your brain conflates the two. You're stressed, you feel that surge of intensity, and suddenly your brain's like, we're activated, we're ready for something, let's interpret this as sexual desire. It's not actually desire in the emotional sense, it's just arousal confusion. Your body's signaling intensity, and your brain's terrible at filtering. It's like trying to distinguish between two similar alarm sounds when they're both blaring at full volume. Now, chronic stress kills testosterone. Long-term stress is basically testosterone's kryptonite. But acute stress, that initial spike, that can feel a lot like sexual readiness if you're not paying attention to what's actually happening under the hood. So you get this weird middle ground where you're stressed, you get a brief testosterone bump, and suddenly you're confusing panic for passion. It's your body's ultimate mixed signal, basically the emotional equivalent of accidentally texting your crush in the group chat. Number 3, the control fallacy. Sex as power when life is chaos. When you're stressed, a lot of your life feels out of control. Your boss controls your schedule, your bills control your money, the news controls your anxiety. Everything is happening to you, not for you. It's a powerless feeling. But here's the thing. In sexual scenarios, especially for men, there's often a sense of agency, control, and effectiveness. You're doing something. You're making something happen. You're not just a passive victim of circumstance. For a moment, you have power. You have action. You have control. This is huge for a stressed brain. When everything in your life feels like it's spinning out, having one domain where you feel like you're in charge is deeply appealing. Sex isn't just physical, it's psychological power. It's proof that you can still make something happen, that you're not completely useless, that you have agency. Some research suggests that men who feel disempowered in other areas of life are more likely to seek sexual connection. It's not always about the sex itself. It's about the feeling of capability and effectiveness that sex provides. So when you're stressed, your brain's not just looking for dopamine, it's looking for a vote of confidence. It's looking to feel like you're still in control of something. It's sad when you think about it, really. Turning to sex because at least you can make that part of your life work. Number 2, the validation trap. Seeking reassurance through physical intimacy. Here's something nobody really talks about. Stress makes you feel small, incompetent, like you're failing at everything. Your brain's running a constant background program of self-doubt and inadequacy. It sucks. Sexual connection provides immediate physical reassurance. Someone wants you. Someone desires you. Someone chose you. In a moment where everything feels like failure, that's a powerful antidote. It's proof that you're desirable, that you matter, that you're wanted. For some guys, that reassurance becomes almost addictive when stress is high. They're not necessarily seeking the physical sensation, they're seeking the validation. They need to be reminded that they're not a complete waste of space. They need proof that they're attractive, capable, worthy. Stress tells you you're failing. Sex whispers, but look, someone still wants you. It's a form of emotional self-medication wrapped in physical desire. The problem is that this validation is temporary. It lasts about as long as the sex does, and then the stress and self-doubt come rushing back worse than before. You end up needing more and more reassurance, more and more validation, creating a cycle where sex becomes less about connection and more about desperately grasping for evidence that you're okay. So really, what guys are sometimes seeking isn't sex, it's a temporary reprieve from hating themselves. Number 1, your brain is just broken at survival. The final plot twist. Here's the meta-realization that ties it all together. Your brain evolved to handle tigers and starvation and immediate physical threats. It did not evolve to handle existential dread, work emails, and the slow burn anxiety of modern life. When your brain senses danger, any danger, real or imagined, it activates your primal survival systems. One of those systems is reproduction. Evolutionary logic says if we might die soon, we better pass on our genes ASAP. So your brain, literally running on Stone Age software, interprets your work stress as a mortality threat and thinks, sex, now, seriously, go, now. Your brain doesn't know the difference between predator nearby and quarterly earnings report due tomorrow. It just knows you're in danger mode, and danger mode activates reproduction mode. That's the whole thing. That's the plot twist. All of this, the dopamine, the oxytocin, the testosterone fluctuations, the control issues, the validation seeking, it all traces back to this single, deeply stupid fact. Your consciousness is running on ancient hardware that wasn't built for any of this. You're not perverted or broken or weirdly horny. You're just a mammo with a prefrontal cortex trying to run 2025 software on a brain that was designed for 10,000 BC. Your nervous system is doing the absolute best it can with outdated information. The real victory is knowing why your brain keeps throwing this at you. Because once you know it's broken evolution and not some personal failing, you can actually do something about it instead of just accepting it as normal. Basically, your brain's been trying to kill you since it was evolved, and sex is just the method it picked today. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.